Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 1st of May 2021. It means today we are starting the new month, that is May month. And guys, you are seeing two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and most important current affair. So watch video till last, but I am requesting you all the students that you have to like this video, you have to share this video as maximum as possible, and you have to subscribe this channel if you are new on this platform. Guys, you can download our application name is Careers Cloud, and you can download this application from the description box link, because so many students are saying that sir, on Google Play Store we are not able to install this application. So you can install this application from the description box link. And guys, after downloading, you have to log in with your email ID, and after login you can click on this crack current affair section, and you can subscribe for 1 year as well as for 2 year. It means you can subscribe for 12 months and 24 months. Both the subscription prices are very much low. If you see the price, you will definitely surprise. But what we are providing under this subscription, we are providing basically daily current affairs. In the daily current affair sections, you will find three sections. One is related to the detailed current affair of particular day, second is the question and answer format of the current affair of particular day, and third is the quiz section. It means you can attempt this quiz on our application. Next is weekly section. In the weekly section, again you will find three sections. One is related to a detailed current affair of particular day, second is question and answer format of the current affair of particular day, and third is the quiz section, which you can attempt on our application and check that how much current affair are prepared and how much more to revise. Next is the monthly section, and it is the most important section because we are providing various PDFs to enhance your performance. Like first is the study PDF. It means all the month detailed and theoretical current affair will be provided under this PDF, and after doing this you can revise all the current affairs through this question and answer PDF. It means all the theoretical current affairs will be converted in the question and answer format so that you can revise again and again. Next is top 100. It means the best 100 current affairs will be provided to you. That is also provided in the form of question and answer so that you can revise again and again before your examination. Next is pocket PDF. It means like one-liner and two-liner current affairs will be provided to you, and this is according to month, and you can revise these current affair before your exam very quickly. So guys, this is daily, weekly and the monthly section, but we are also providing topic wise PDF, or you can say the smart PDFs, to enhance your performance. Like we are covering 20 type of the best important topics for every type of exam, like apps and web portals, important days, books and authors. If your particular one topic is weak, or you just want to revise only one topic, then you have to pick this PDF and you can revise very easily. Next is banking awareness section. It is only special for the banking aspirants. Like we are providing three sections for them. Like first is the detailed current affair of banking and economy, question and answer format of current affairs related to banking and economy only, and third is the quiz section, that you can check that how much banking and economy current affair you more required to revise. And next is the exam PDF. This is very important to revise the current affair before your exam from single PDF. This is the use of exam PDF. It means all the past current affairs will be updated under this PDF. And if suppose your exam is tomorrow and you just want to revise all the 2021 current affair, then you have to just pick this PDF and you can revise all full year current affair. Next is the special current affair. It is related to budget and economic survey. It means we are providing factual data related to budget and economic survey, and also we are providing expected question and answer which examiner can ask in your exam. Next is the state current affairs, because students who are preparing for the center government exam, they are definitely preparing for the state government exam. So we are also covering the state current affairs. It means all type of the current affairs we are covering, every type of the current affair we are covering, and we are enhancing your state current affair performance here. So we are covering every state and union territory. So guys, there is no different subscription here, but we are providing only single subscription. You have to just download our application, that is Careers Cloud. You can just see the link in the description box, and you have to log in with your email ID, and you have to click on this crack current affair section. After clicking on this crack current affair section, you can subscribe for 1 year as well as 2 year. The prices are so much low. If you see, you will definitely surprise, and on that minimal price we are again providing 10% extra discount. If you use this code ASH10, then you will get 10% extra discount. And guys, you can reach us on this email ID, sport@affairscloud.com. If you have any query, then you can email us on this email ID. You can also reach us on this contact number. It means if you have any query, then you can call on this number. You can also comment in any video. I will personally entertain your queries. So guys, let's start today's current affair, that is 1st of May 2021. But I am again requesting you all the students that you have to like this video, We want 700 plus likes. You have to subscribe this channel. If you're new on this platform, you have to share this video as maximum as possible. So let's begin today's session with the most important question section. And here is our first question. Who will be the named as the chairman of Bajaj Auto? So most important question, because recently very famous person already as the chairman of the Bajaj Auto stepped down, and now new person become the chairman of Bajaj Auto. So answer of this question is very simple. Answer of this question is not in the options, guys. All are not true options. So answer of this question is Neeraj Bajaj. So guys, remember, answer of this question is Neeraj Bajaj. All the options are incorrect. So Bajaj Auto has named Neeraj Bajaj as the non-executive director of Bajaj Auto as its new chairman, and he will succeed which person? He will succeed Rahul Bajaj, and it will effect from the 1st May. It means from today, 2021. You can also see this picture, like Neeraj Bajaj named as Bajaj Auto chairman and Rahul Bajaj to be chairman emeritus. So guys, remember what is this emeritus? If you reading this word like chairman emeritus, it means it is just a honorary post. So that's why we are using the word chairman emeritus. So it means it is a honorary post, and he will be the chairman emeritus for a time period of 5 years with effect from again 1st May 2021. So you can also see this, like Neeraj Bajaj joined the board of Bajaj Auto like in 9th September 2006, and he is one of the promoted director of the Bajaj Group. But the most important thing here, the very important and very fascinating thing, Neeraj Bajaj represented national table tennis between 1917 to 77. That is very interesting thing. Neeraj Bajaj represented nation table tennis between 1970 to 77, and he was thrice named as the All India table tennis champion. That is again very important, and ranked India number 1 4 times. So this is very important thing about the Neeraj Bajaj. You have to remember. That's why he won the Arjuna Award, and he also won the Maharashtra Gaurav Puraskar. So you have to remember this thing, this table tennis thing. This is very important. So guys, we are moving to the next question. Next question is, which payment bank become the first to enable 2 lakh of day and balance account limit? So mark this question in the most important question, because this payment bank is the first bank to enable 2 lakh of day and balance account limit. But you have to remember what is the current limit. In 2014, basically RBI has fixed the minimum end of day balance per customer for payment bank as rupees 1 lakh rupees. 1 lakh rupees. Earlier, most payment banks sweep out the deposit with their partner banks if an individual end-to-end day balance cross the 1 lakh limit. But in April 2021, like in early April 2021, RBI increased the existing maximum end of day balance limit of fund that account holders can keep until the end of the day per customer of payment bank from 1 lakh rupees to 2 lakh rupees, and it will definitely support the micro, small, medium industries, unorganized entities, other small businessmen, and other persons who want to improve the cash flow in their business. And this bank is, guys, Airtel Payment Bank. So remember, it is Airtel Payment Bank. You can also remember, we covered this question in the question of the day, like Airtel Payment Bank become the first entity in India to receive a payment bank license by the RBI in 2016, but it was established in 2017. So guys, remember this. These are very, very important things which I told you. Recently, RBI increased this day and balance account limit from 1 lakh to 2 lakh. And now, according to RBI guidelines, Airtel Payment Bank become the first bank who follow the RBI guidelines. So you have to remember this. Now you can also see this. RBI increased the existing limit day end-to-end balance limit. End-to-end balance means limit of funds that account holders can keep until the end of the day. It means maximum to maximum account can hold 1 lakh rupees per customer of the payment bank, but now it can hold the 2 lakh rupees. So we already covered the restrictions and the guidelines of the payment bank. Guys, I am again repeating, if you're a new student, then you can recall that news. Like they can basically provide the opportunity to operate current account and saving account. They can issue ATM, debit cards, net banking, mobile banking facilities to the customers. And they can even distribute non-risk financial products such as the mutual fund and the insurance. But they do not have right to providing lending services. They can't lend money, guys, because they can't take risk. Because credit cards and loan facilities are not for the payment banks, and the initial minimum capital requirement is 100 crore rupees for the payment banks, and the restricted deposit is currently updated to 2 lakh rupees. 2 lakh rupees per customer. So guys, remember all these things. Now here is the important thing is bank, like Airtel Payment Bank. So you have to remember about this. It is the first payment bank we already covered. It was established in 2017. We already covered, and it was by Bharti Airtel, as the name suggests. Headquarters is in New Delhi, and MD and CEO is Anubrata Bishwas. So remember, Anubrata Bishwas, currently MD and CEO of the Airtel Payment Bank. Now we can move to the next question. Who became a member of network of greening the financial system? This is most important question, especially for the banking aspirants, because answer of this question is Reserve Bank of India. First of all, you have to remember about this network for greening the financial system. So friends, this network for greening the financial system consists of a group of central banks and supervisors who willing to or you can say who willing on a voluntary basis, and they can share the best practices and experiences for the development of environment and climate risk management in the financial sector. That's why this is a group of central banks and the supervisors, but there is no foundation on any country, because it is just on the voluntary basis that they will share best practices and experiences for the development of environment and climate risk management in the financial sector. So guys, remember, RBI now become the member of this network for greening the financial system, and the central banks will organize the finance to support the transition towards a sustainable economy, because we are talking about the financial sector, and RBI as a member will contribute to the global efforts on green finance and the climate change, definitely. So guys, you can see RBI joins network for greening and financial system, and Reserve Bank of India joined this system, and it was launched at the Paris One Planet Summit on December 12, 2017, and RBI become a member of it in April 23, 2021. And what is this? We already covered this point, and you have to remember RBI will contribute to global efforts on the green finance and the climate change. And recently we covered this question, that one municipal corporation, that is the Ghaziabad Municipal Corporation, we already covered this news in the micro news. A civic body of the Uttar Pradesh has become India's first municipal corporation to issue global green bonds. So you have to remember this, and it issued municipal green bonds in Bombay Stock Exchange and even raised 150 crore rupees, and they will almost raise almost about 250 crore rupees, because 50 crore rupees is given by central government for this initiative. 150 crore they already raised, but 50 crore they have to more raise. So almost 250 crore will they raise. So it is Ghaziabad Municipal Corporation. So guys, remember, the keyword here is the network for greening the financial system. What is this system? It is just a group of central banks and supervisors on the voluntary basis, and they will share best practices and experiences for the development of environment and climate risk management in the financial sector. And guys, this greening network for greening the financial system was established in 2017, as we discussed in the Paris Agreement in 2017, and its headquarters is also in Paris. It means the country is France, and total member countries are 90 member countries, but 13 are observer countries. They will get the member status after so much time period. And chairman of this network for greening the financial, it is not important, but I am just telling you so that every information can be covered. So the chairman is Frank Elderson, and he is currently the banker of the Dutch Central Bank, Frank Elderson. Now we can move to the next question. So guys, all the most important questions are covered, but you can mark this question in the most important, or you can in the very important. We are covering in the most important, but we are writing very important question. So it's your choice. Which Indian American appointed as Associate Attorney General of United States of America? Like he or she is not basically the Attorney General of United States of America. He or she is the Associate Attorney General of United States of America. So that's why you can mark under the very important, or you can mark under the most important. So answer of this question is Vanita Gupta. So guys, remember, Indian American Vanita Gupta has been appointed as Associate Attorney General of United States, and with this she became the first Indian Remember, she became the first Indian American to be served in this role. Remember this. And prior to this, she has been also the president and CEO of the Leadership Conference on the Civil and Human Rights in the United States of America. And she has also headed Civil Rights Division in the Department of Justice in the Obama's administration. So you have to just remember the name Vanita Gupta, and you have to just remember this Associate Attorney General of United States of America. So guys, other two options are again very important. A and B options are very important, like Judge Merrick Garland. He is currently the Attorney General of United States of America. Remember, Attorney General of United States of America, it's Judge Merrick Garland. And Vivek Murthy, again very important name, because he is currently appointed as the main surgeon of Joe Biden. Remember, Joe Biden main surgeon is Vivek Murthy. So these are very important things you have to remember regarding the USA administration. One is the Attorney General of United States of America. Next is the Associate Attorney General of United States of America. Third is the surgeon of the Joe Biden. So Vivek Murthy. Now we can move to the next question, but you can also see the picture of Vanita Gupta, and she is appointed as Associate Attorney General of the United States, with this she become the first Indian American to serve in this role. So now we are moving to the very important question section, guys. You have to provide us 700 plus likes. You have to subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform, and you have to share this video as maximum as possible. And here is our first question: which bank and Decentro made a partnership to offer customized business banking application programming interface to companies? First of all, you have to remember about this application programming interfaces. It is traditionally a technological interface between software programs, and it is set of protocols that facilitate a third-party application to synchronize and connect to a bank's tool and services, and makes a bank services available to other third party. And this bank is, guys, ICICI. So answer of this question is A. You have to remember answer is A. So ICICI Bank ties up with the Decentro. Decentro is basically, you can say, a full stack application programming interface banking platform, and it is a private technological company, and it will offer customized business banking application programming interfaces to the companies like financial technological companies, startups, corporate, or the e-commerce companies. So you can also see this ICICI Bank 7 business banking applications from different categories like deposits, payments, and collections were integrated by Decentro to provide a powerful kit to the end users. It means all the 7 type of the applications of ICICI Bank will be merged together, or you can say integrated together, so that every type of the facility will be provided to a user. So this is a new kind of the thing which will be done by the Decentro company, and it is basically, you can say, Bengaluru, Karnataka based company. And about API in banking, we already covered this point, but you have to remember the initiative enables the ICICI Bank customers to have a quick and stable access to all banking, all business banking services through this application programming interfaces. And it will also help both banks and the third party companies to combine their offerings and the specialties. So this is very important thing. And recent latest news, you have to remember, ICICI Bank collaborated with the Neo, basically you can say new age financial technological company, to issue prepaid cards, namely ICICI Bank Neo Bharat payroll card through the blue collar workers of the micro, small and medium enterprises. So remember, it is just for the MSMEs. And remember about ICICI Bank. ICICI Bank was established in 1995, and its headquarters is in Mumbai, Maharashtra. Its MD and CEO is Sandeep Bakshi. Its tagline is Hum Hai Na Khyal Aapka. Don't remember about Decentro, just remember the name, Decentro Tech Private Company. Now we are moving to the next question. Who represented India at the G7 Digital and Technological Ministerial Meet? And second question in this question is, which country is hosting G7 Summit of 2021? So guys, don't confuse with the G20, because G20 is the G20 presidentship of 2021 lies with Saudi Arabia. But this answer is wrong, guys, because maximum students are marking Saudi Arabia. I asked in the comment sometimes, but many students are wrong. G20 Summit of 2021 is hosted by Italy, guys. Remember, 2021 presidentship of G20 lies with Italy, but G7 presidentship of 2021 lies with United Kingdom. So it means G7 which will be held in every year, like in June or July month, and this year it will be hosted by United Kingdom. So remember about G7 and G20, don't confuse with. So answer of this question, because it is related to digital and technology, and answer is very obvious. Answer is Ravi Shankar Prasad. which is a Union Minister of Electronics and Information Technology, who represented India at the G7 Digital and Technological Ministerial Meet, which was held on 28th of April 2021. And India attended this event as a guest because India is not a member of G7 group. So India is attending this event as a guest. So you have to remember this. You can also see this, that Ravi Shankar Prasad ji also attended the G20 summit. It is also a digital ministerial meeting, and G7 also digital ministerial meeting. It means Ravi Shankar Prasad represented both because he is currently the Union Minister of Electronics and Information Technology. And you can also see this, India attended this event as a guest because India is not a member of this organization. And this time it is the 47th G7 Leader Summit. Remember, 47th G7 Summit, which will be hosted by United Kingdom. But examiner can ask the exact place because United Kingdom everyone knows. So exact place is Cornwall Summit. This is also known as the Cornwall Summit. So exact place is Cornwall or Caribbees Bay. So examiner can confuse you in both ways. Caribbees Bay can be the answer, Cornwall can be the answer. And remember G7 is basically established in 1975. It is an intergovernmental organization, and it acts as an informal forum for discussing pressing world issues. And these are the most developing countries of today's world, like United States of America, UK, United Kingdom, France is there, Germany is there, Italy is there, Canada, and Japan. So these are the 7 countries which are currently the member of G7. But European Union also attends this meeting every year. European Union also attends this meeting every year. And in 2021 summit, India has been invited by the United Kingdom Prime Minister Boris Johnson. And guys, you can also remember the extra information here, like in 2022, it means it will be the 48th G7 summit. It will be hosted by Germany. In 2023, it will be hosted by Japan. In 2024, it will be hosted by Italy, because all the presidentship goes on the rotation basis. So in 2021 it is hosted by United Kingdom. It is 47th. It will be the 48th, 49th, and 50th will be hosted by Italy. It means 50th year of celebration will be held in Italy. And 2023 Japan, 2022 Germany. You can note down these things because these are important, and very less information about these things are available on any network. So guys, you have to remember this. And you can also remember all the members, country head, or you can say the president or the prime minister. Like here is the United States of America, Joe Biden is there. United Kingdom is there. United Kingdom, it means we are talking about the Boris Johnson. And France is there. France president is Emmanuel Macron. Next here is the Germany. Germany Chancellor is Angela Merkel. Italy is Mario Draghi. Next is Canada, Justin Trudeau, and Japan is Yoshihide Suga. So you have to remember all these information. And you can also remember about the European Union. European Union Council President is Charles Michel. You can also remember this. Now we can move to the next question, but you can also remember the constituency of these ministers, like Piyush Goyal constituency. Basically, he belongs to Rajya Sabha. So there is no need to remember the constituency. Ramesh Pokhriyal, yes, he is currently the Union Minister of Education, and his constituency is Haridwar in Uttarakhand. Ravi Shankar Prasad constituency is Patna Sahib. He defeated Shatrughan Sinha from the Patna Sahib. Nirmala Sitharaman is member of Rajya Sabha, but his constituency is from Karnataka. You can also remember as same in the Piyush Goyal, but don't remember because he is a member of Rajya Sabha from Maharashtra, but it is not so much important. So remember this. Now we can move to the next question. So remember G7 and G20, both are very, very important. You can also see these tweets, like Ravi Shankar Prasad and represented India at the G7 Digital and Technological Ministerial Meeting, and this tweeted by Ravi Shankar Prasad ji personally on the 29th of April. And about G20 Digital Economy Ministers Meeting, it was also tweeted by Ravi Shankar Prasad ji on 30th of April. So you can remember both. Now we can move to the next question. Padam Vibhushan awardee Soli Sorabji. So very, very important question. Even you can mark this question in the most important question, because this question will come 100%, guys. Soli Sorabji passed away. He was former Attorney General of India. So answer of this question is B. Remember Soli Sorabji. You can see the picture of Soli Sorabji, and he was also awarded with the third highest civilian medal, or this is the Padam Vibhushan. And Soli Sorabji passed away, and he was the Attorney General. He was Attorney General for India on 9 December 1989 to 2nd December 1990. It means almost for 1 year, and then again on the 7th of April 1998. And he then became the chairman of the United Nations Subcommission on the Promotion and Protection of Human Rights from 1998 to 2004. And he was also designated as the senior advocate of the Bombay High Court in 1971. So very versatile personality. You have to remember all this information about the Soli Sorabji, and because so many people like Chief Justice of India and other high fraternity of Indian government also provided condolences for this person. So that's why this person is very, very, very important for you. Soli Sorabji. I am again repeating the name, Soli Sorabji. And he was honored with the Padma Vibhushan Award, the second highest civilian award, you can say, in the Padma series, or third highest civilian overall, in 2002 for his defense of freedom of speech and the protection of human rights. And he belongs to which state? He belongs to Maharashtra, because he was born in Maharashtra in 1930. So remember, veteran lawyer and Padma Vibhushan Awardee, former Attorney General of India, Soli Sorabji passed away due to COVID-19. So many personalities died due to COVID-19. Yesterday, we already provided condolences to one very famous, you can say, news anchor, Rohit Sardana ji. So many persons died due to COVID-19. You have to be patient and you have to be calm, and please stay at home. Don't go outside. Please stay at home. So guys, it is Soli Sorabji. Now we can move to next question. Which organization planned to invest USD 40 million, it means almost 290 crore, in Upgrad platform? Upgrad is basically online upskilling platform. So mark this under the very important question, because there is a very important company that is known as Upgrad, which is an online upskilling platform. And answer of this question is International Finance Corporation, which is basically a member of the World Bank Group, and they are planning to invest 40 million USD, it means almost 290 crore rupees in Upgrad, an online upskilling platform. And Upgrad was basically founded by 4 persons, like one is the Roni Sakriwala, second is the Falgun, third is the Mayank Kumar, and fourth one is the Ravijot Chugh. It was established in 2015 by investing almost 170 crore rupees. But now the promoters only holding the firm came to 75%, just 75%, because 25% now owned by the 2 stakeholders. One is, you can say, the International Finance Corporation, and second is basically Singapore investor company that is known as the Temasek. So you can also see this IFC to invest 40 million in Upgrad platform to promoters pair stake to 75%, because 25% is now owned by, one is the IFC and second is basically a Singapore investor company that is known as Temasek Holdings. Temasek Holdings. So these 2 companies now own 25% of the stake. You have to just remember that they are now owning only 75%, and after the investment of USD 160 million in April 2021, USD 40 million from the IFSC, and 120 million funding from the Singaporean investor Temasek Holding. And IFC also proposed a senior loan of up to $150 million to Bajaj Finance Limited for up to 5 years. This is a again new kind of thing, that one finance company is taking loan from the another corporation so that they can give these loan to the other people. So this is very risky kind of the investment, but IFC is providing so much loan, that is $150 million loan to Bajaj Finance. And this $150 million loan will enable the company to expand its lending to the micro, small, medium enterprises and women and the owned micro, small and medium enterprises. And after obtaining the loan, Bajaj Finance plans to increase its lending to MSME sector almost about $600 million. So guys, remember, this is a very important question. You have to remember with the name of this Upgrad company. It was established in 2015. I already covered this point, and its executive chairman is Roni Sakriwala, MD is Mayank Kumar. Headquarters is in Mumbai. And remember about Bajaj Finance. It is the 3rd largest non-banking finance company in India, NBFC, and it was established in 1987 because it was incorporated as the Bajaj Auto Finance, and its headquarters is in Pune, Maharashtra, and its chairman is Sanjeev Bajaj. And next is most important here is the International Finance Corporation. It was established in 1956 as a member of the World Bank Group, and its MD is Makhtar Dayab, but you don't have to remember. Headquarters is in Washington DC, United States of America. So guys, remember about International Finance Corporation. When it was established in 1956. Now we can move to the next question. What will be the new maximum sum assured payable under the employees deposit linked insurance scheme? Because center government recently amended this scheme, like employees deposit linked insurance scheme, but so many amendments are there. This is only one amendment, that maximum sum assured is now increased from 6 lakh to 7 lakhs. So guys, remember, answer of this question, you can just mark this like D option. So if the D option is 7 lakh, then answer of this question is D, 7 lakhs. So remember, answer is 7 lakhs. And in the line of which amendment the maximum sum assured payable under this scheme was increased from 6 lakh to 7 lakh, you have to remember the older provision. But there are so many things which are amended under this scheme. But first of all, you have to remember about this scheme, and Labor Ministry hikes this maximum sum assured payable under this scheme to 7 lakh rupees. And what is this scheme? This was basically launched in 1976. Remember, this was launched in 1976 to provide insurance benefit to the members of Employees Provident Fund Organization. Only provide the benefit to the members of Employees Provident Fund Organization. And its objective was to ensure the family members get financial assistance in case of the death of any family member. And the scheme is applicable to all organizations which are registered under the Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provision Act of 1952. So you have to remember, one is, it is for the employees of the Employees Provident Fund Organization. Second thing, it is to provide the financial assistance in case of death of any family member, death of a member, basically, not any family member. This scheme is applicable to all organizations which are registered under the Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provision Act of 1952. So you can also see this now increased from 6 lakh to 7 lakh. And approved the extension of minimum insurance benefit. Minimum benefit will be given as 2.5 lakh payable to the family member of deceased employee who died within a service. So that's why this scheme is known as the Employees Provident Fund Organization Scheme, or you can say EDLI, Employees Deposit Linked Insurance Scheme. So this scheme was started in 1976 to provide insurance benefit to the members of the EPFO, and the claim amount under this is 30 times the average monthly salary in the past 12 months. But now this 30 times is increased to 35 times. So you have to remember, subject to a maximum of 7 lakh. It means maximum to maximum you can get 7 lakh rupees, but it should be the 35 times the average monthly salary of the past 12 months, and it cannot exceed the 7 lakhs. Earlier it was 6 lakhs. Earlier the benefit of 2.5 lakh was not applicable for the members who worked in more than one establishment, but now if you are working in the multiple establishment, then you can avail this 2.5 lakh rupees. So there are so many things which are changed, like 30 times to 35 times. We already covered this question. And earlier, one should be in the employment of the same establishment of a continuous period of 1 year preceding his death. Now changed as a employment, removed the same establishment. It means one or more establishments can be there. The fund is subjected to a ceiling of 1,50,000 rupees, but now the ceiling is also increased. 1,75,000 is there. Minimum assured sum is not less than 2.5 lakhs, and it's continued to effect till from the February 15 to 2020. And the maximum sum assured payable is 6 lakh, now it is 7 lakh. And under punishment for failure of submit returns, the fine amount is 4,000, now increased to 25,000 rupees. So these are the amendment. These are not important to all the students, but you have to remember three things. One is, it is increased from 6 lakh to 7 lakh. Second, a minimum is 2.5 lakh, which is continuing from the February 2020. Third is, the average salary should be now taken as 35 times of 12 months or the 1 year. So you have to remember these things. And remember about one more thing, that is EPFO. This organization is very, very important for you. EPFO. EPFO stands for Employees Provident Fund Organization. It was established in 1952, headquarters in New Delhi, and it works under the Ministry of Labour and Employment. And who is Union Minister of Labour and Employment? He is currently the Minister of State Independent Charge, Santosh Kumar Gangwar. Santosh Kumar Gangwar. He is currently the Union Minister of Labour and Employment, and his constituency is Bareilly. His constituency is Bareilly. And who is currently the Central Provident Fund Commissioner, or you can say CPFC? He is currently Sunil Barthwal. Sunil Barthwal. So remember the name. He is currently the Central Provident Fund Commissioner. So these are all things about the EPFO. Now we can move to the next question. Which organization signed a MOU with the Link Fund for Empowerment of Tribals? So very simple question, because we are talking about tribals. So there is only one organization who is working only for the tribal, that is TriFed. So guys, TriFED stands for Tribal Cooperative Marketing Development Federation of India. It is the commercial wing of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, which has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Link Fund. Link Fund is an philanthropic operational foundation for empowerment of the tribal. So guys, remember, answer of this question is TriFED. So you can say the Link Fund Solution and TriFED joins hand with the Link Fund to work towards the tribal development. And you can also see this, the agreement has been signed for a project titled Sustainable Livelihood for the Tribal Households in India. So it aims to empower tribals by providing support to them for increasing value addition in their produce and products. So guys, remember, its main aim to provide support to all the tribals for increasing value addition in their produce and products. So they will also work to create women-centered infrastructure and innovation and entrepreneurship. So they will provide sustainable livelihood and value addition for increase in income and employment generation through the technological intervention. And the intervention will help in achieving efficiency in the value addition for minor forest produce, because now MSPs are also announced for the minor forest produce in the different states. And they will also work to create women-centered infrastructure and innovation and entrepreneurship. And the Link Fund will assist TriFED to draw project implementation plan, estimate budgetary estimate, and mobilize funds. So an important aspect of the partnership will be the development of market for the non-timber forest products. So this is the main fund. And guys, remember all these things, because all these things definitely will increase the livelihood of the tribal areas. And TriFED has initiated so many initiatives for the empowerment of tribals, like there is Vandan Startup. Vandan Startup. So this is very famous, because Vandan Startups for generating employment opportunity among the tribal artisans and the forest gatherers. Under this scheme, almost 3,000 crore rupees will be injected in the tribal economy since April 2020 till date. And in 2020, center government also announced the MSP for the minor forest produce, and it is also increased by the 90%. So this is very good thing for the tribal areas. So guys, remember all these things, because all these things cannot be asked in the exam, but it is very important to remember the news. And recently TriFED signed a MOU with the Deen Dayal Antyodaya National Rural Livelihood Mission for undertaking economic support programs to boost the livelihood of the tribal population, so that maximum to maximum population can be enhanced. And tribal population of the country and women self-help groups, and you can say the women entrepreneurship, can be enhanced by this TriFED and the Deen Dayal Antyodaya program. And remember about TriFED. TriFED comes under the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Ministry of Tribal Union Minister is Arjun Munda ji, and Managing Director is Praveer Krishna, and head office is in New Delhi. But don't remember about this Link Fund. Link Fund is basically a Geneva-based organization. Only remember about TriFED, and it works under the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. And already covered that Union Minister is Arjun Munda, but you can also remember the constituency of Arjun Munda ji. Constituency of Arjun Munda ji is Khunti, Jharkhand. Khunti, Jharkhand. Now we can move to next question. What is the name of American astronaut Apollo 11 pilot who passed away recently? Because we know only 2 pilots from the Apollo 11, because both stepped on the moon, but there are total 3 pilots. One is basically in the commanding unit, so that's why he was not able to get out from the Apollo 11 command area. So answer of this question is Michael Collins. So answer of this question is Michael Collins, because first person, you know, it is Neil Armstrong, and the second is Buzz Aldrin, but third person who was in the command area, that was Michael Collins. So that's why this person was also known as the forgotten astronaut of Apollo 11, because so many less person know about this person, like forgotten astronaut of Apollo 11, as Michael Collins never set foot on the lunar surface. And Apollo 11 mission emblem was also designed by this Collins, and this is the emblem of the Apollo 11. And Michael Collins flew the Apollo 11 command module Columbia around the moon in 1969, along with the crewmates like the Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, who made the first crewed landing on the moon surface in 1969. And he was also a test pilot and major general in the United States Air Force Reserves. So guys, remember the name, because name is very important, because he was one of the crew member who landed on moon surface. So that's why it is very important. And one of the crew member is Buzz Aldrin, and third is the Neil Armstrong, and first is the Michael Collins. So you have to remember this. And there are 2 another names which are again very important. So 2 names are, one is here Tony Trabert. Tony Trabert is a famous American tennis player who was recently died. So remember, American tennis player. Next is Lou Ottens, again very famous name. We covered this question in the most important question. Like he was the inventor of audio cassette tapes. Audio cassette tapes, and he was also recently died. So remember these two personalities again. So you can also see the picture of Michael Collins, and he was Apollo 11 pilot. Now we can move to the next question. It is from the picture, like NASA Mars mission Perseverance rover produces oxygen on dead planets. That is very good news, and this is a new finding in the Mars surface, and it is a Perseverance rover. And you have to remember about the helicopter name. Helicopter name is the Ingenuity. So you have to remember this. Now you can also see this. It has produced oxygen from Mars using an instrument called MOXIE, Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment. So it is the first time that oxygen is being produced on another planet, and MOXIE produced 5 grams of oxygen from carbon dioxide, which is enough for an astronaut to breathe for 10 minutes on Mars. So this is a huge kind of thing which is done by this mission, or you can say this instrument, that is known as the MOXIE or MOXIE, Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment. And because the atmosphere on Mars is almost about 95% of carbon dioxide, so that's why there is a need to convert this carbon dioxide into oxygen, and we can use this oxygen for the breathing purposes. And if this MOXIE produce 5 grams of oxygen from the carbon dioxide, it is enough for the astronaut to breathe for 10 minutes. And guys, remember, the production of oxygen is critical to human exploration of Mars, and both as a source of air for astronauts and as an essential ingredient of rocket fuel to fly astronauts back home. And this MOXIE is basically sponsored by the NASA Space Technology Mission and Human Exploration and the Operation Mission Directorate. So you have to just remember it is a NASA's mission. And you can also remember, if you are a science student, that Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment basically works through electrolysis using extreme heat to separate oxygen atoms from the molecules of the carbon dioxide. So that's how it produces the oxygen. So remember about NASA. NASA's headquarters is in Washington DC, United States of America, and its administrator is currently is Steve, but new administrator will be Bill Nelson. So you can remember this. Now we can move to the next section. It is the important question section, guys. You have to provide us 700 plus likes. You have to subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform, and you have to share this video as maximum as possible. Here is the first question in the important section. Which country hosted 5th session of Codex Committee of Spices and Culinary Herbs? So answer of this question is very simple, India. But I think many students don't know about this Codex Committee on the Spices and Culinary Herbs. So guys, remember, India is the host, and Spices Board of India, Spices Board of India under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, is the main headquarter of this Codex Committee on the Spices and the Culinary Herbs. And this organization is the first Codex Commodity Committee to hold a virtual session. Around 300 experts from 50 countries took part in it. So by the name you can guess it is for the spices, because this organization has finalized and recommended quality standards for the 4 species. One is the clove, second is oregano, basils, and ginger. So this organization decided the quality of these 4 type of the species, and the committee forwarded these 4 new standards to the Codex Alimentarius Commission. This is a higher commission for adoption of full-fledged Codex standards. So this is known as CAC, Codex Alimentarius Commission. So you can also see this Codex Committee on the Spices and Culinary Herbs. This meeting is hosted by India, and its headquarter is in Spices Board of India headquarter, and Spices Board of India is in Kerala. So remember this. So you can see this. It was inaugurated by the Rita Teotia, who is currently the chairperson of the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, which is also known as the FSSAI. India is the host of Spices Board of India and is the secretary of the Codex Committee of the Spices and Culinary Herbs. And remember, this organization or this committee was established in 2013 under Codex Alimentarius Commission. It is an intergovernmental body. Remember, it is an intergovernmental body, and it is established by, this body is established by Food and Agriculture Organization and World Health Organization for protecting the health of consumers and ensuring fair practices in food trade. So in simple words, you can say this is the most important organization, like Codex Alimentarius Commission. Under this organization, there is one committee which is known as this committee, Codex Committee on the Spices and Culinary Herbs, and its main secretariat is in India, and it is in Kerala. And remember, Spices Board of India is currently the currently representing India under this Spices committee, and who is currently the chairman and secretary? It is D. Sathyan. So remember, this is again very important question, that who is the chairman and secretary of the Spices Board of India? So it is D. Sathyan. And where is the headquarter of this Codex Alimentarius Commission? Its headquarter is where? FAO headquarter. It means headquarter is in Italy. Remember, headquarter is in Italy. Now we can move to next question because it was not so much important. What is the name of high yielding and pest resistance variety of soybean which was been developed by Indian scientists? So this is a new kind of question. This question is basically related to the agriculture field. So not important for every student, but you have to just remember, because you have to relate every news, every type of the news, and this is related to agriculture. So new variety of soybean is now discovered. It is a high yield variety and the pest resistance variety. It is developed by one Indian Institute Science students, like one name of this institute is Maharashtra Association for the Cultivation of Science Research Institute. I am repeating again, MSCS, Maharashtra Association for Cultivation of Science Research Institute. That's why it is known as MSCS 1407. So answer of this question is C. C is the answer. So you can see this is the soybean variety MSCS 1407, and Indian scientists develop high yield variety of the Indian scientists from the soybean. So you have to just remember, and it is suitable for the rain-fed conditions of the northeast India, and hence suitable for cultivation in the states like Assam, West Bengal, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, northeastern states. So this is not so much important, but ICR is the main organization who is leading this invention. ICR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research. Its headquarters is in New Delhi, and president of this society is Narendra Singh Tomar, who is currently the Union Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. And where is the what is the constituency name of Narendra Singh Tomar? It is Morena, Madhya Pradesh. So remember, it is Morena, Madhya Pradesh. Now we can move to the next question. And next is from the picture, and it is basically not a news, it is information that Happy Ayushman Bharat Divas celebrated on 30th of April 2021. This is Happy Ayushman Bharat Divas. So what is Ayushman Bharat? So guys, Ayushman Bharat Divas is annually celebrated on 30th of April to promote affordable medical facilities in the remote parts of India. So that it aims to promote health and wellness and provide the benefits of insurance to the poor. So Ayushman Bharat is a flagship scheme of the government which was launched by the Ministry of Health, or you can say the National Health Policy, under the 2017 with an aim to achieve universal health coverage. And Ayushman Bharat comprises two interrelated components. One is the Health and Wellness Center, second is the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. So you have to remember, it is celebrated on the 30th of April. Now we are moving to the one-liner important point. Here is first point: government extends Vivad se Vishwas deadline for payment to June 30. So the most important keyword here is the Vivad se Vishwas, and it is a dispute resolution scheme, and government extended 2 months time period, that is till 30th June 2021, and also extended the deadline for various compliance under the Income Tax Act due to COVID-19 pandemic. So guys, remember, it is a dispute resolution scheme. Next is Shri Hari Natraj creates national record in 50-meter backstroke swimming. Even you can mark this news in the very important section, because this Indian swimmer Shri Hari Natraj won his second gold in the 50-meter backstroke swimming and made a national record in Uzbekistan Open Championship. So this was Shri Hari's third national record in the last 2 days, as he had made a new record twice in the 100-meter backstroke. And India swimmer got a total of 29 medals, which comprises 18 gold medals, 7 silver and 2 bronze medals. So you have to just remember the name Shri Hari Natraj, and he belongs to swimming game. Next, International Jazz Day 2021 celebrated on the 30th of April. 30th of April celebrated International Jazz Day. It is just observed to highlight the jazz and its diplomatic role in uniting people across the globe, and it is the 10th anniversary of International Jazz Day. So don't remember, it is not so much important day, but you can also remember International Dance Day. So it is again very new kind of day, International Dance Day. It is annually celebrated on the 29th of April. It is the birth anniversary of Jean George, the creator of modern ballet dance. Remember, modern of father of, you can say, or creator of the modern ballet dance. So the day aims to celebrate dance and its universality, which unites the people across different political, cultural, and ethnic backgrounds. So both the days are not so much important. Just read this. Next, Apple launched $200 million restore fund to reduce carbon. So it is again to reduce the carbon emission, but this time it is Apple. So Apple, in partnership with Conservation International and Goldman Sachs, launched a first of its kind carbon removal initiative called the Restore Fund. So the name of this full campaign is the Restore Fund of $200 million to make investment in the timber producing forest properties to remove carbon from the atmosphere, in turn generating a financial return for the investor. If you generate timber, then it will basically absorb the carbon dioxide, and we can remove the carbon dioxide, assess carbon dioxide from the environment. So this is the main initiative of the Apple. So remember this. Next, music composer Shravan Rathod passed away at the age of 66. So guys, remember the famous music composer Shravan Rathod, or you can say it is a very famous two music composer. One is known as Nadeem, second is known as Sharvan. So this Naveen Sharman Dew and one person is Shravan Rathod. He passed away at the age of 66 due to COVID-19 in Mumbai, Maharashtra. So many persons died due to COVID-19. And Shravan Rathod belongs to Maharashtra. And Nadeem Sharman was well known for their composition in movie Ashki, which was very, very fabulous hit movie. And some of their works in like movie Sajan, Sadak, Fool or Kante, Divana, so many movies like famous movies. Raja Hindustani is there, Pardesh is there, Hum Hai Rahi Pyar Ke. So these are the movies under which both do work, like Nadeem and Sharvan. So this is the Sharvan. Next, climate change activist Akash Ranisan authored an ebook titled Climate Change Explained for One and All. So this is a book related to climate change, and this book is written by Akash Ranisan, and this book is focused on the topics like climate change and its effects on the life of the individual. So you have to just read not this book, it is your personal choice that you have to read, but you have to read the name of the book for your examination, like climate change, and this book is written by Akash. So climate change is related to Akash, so you can perfectly relate this name. Now we can move to the next question. It is the question of the day, and question is 30th of April 2021 was original headquarter of RBI were located at. So very simple answer. Even every student almost commented right answer. And original headquarter of RBI was in Calcutta. But in 1937 it was shifted to Shahid Bhagat Singh Marg in Mumbai. So remember, in 1937 it shifted to Mumbai. Earlier it was Calcutta. Now we can move to the question of the day. Question of the day is, which of the following institutions issue the special drawing rights? So very important question, and this question was asked in so many exams. So it is very simple question. You have to answer me only in the comment box. So guys, please provide 700 plus likes. Please subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform. Please share this video as maximum as possible. And guys, press this bell button so that you can receive the notification on time. And it is Affairs Cloud promise that it will boost your confidence in the general awareness section definitely. And guys, don't take life so much serious. Life is fun. Always be happy and don't go outside. This is my humble request. Don't go outside. Always avoid outside work and be at home. So this is your only choice now. Thank you guys again. Take care of yourself and meet you tomorrow. Thank you guys.